So I just finished Dragon's Dogma, rolled credits, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I feel disappointed. I don't know if I need to say this, but major spoilers ahead if you are curious about Dragon's Dogma, haven't played it, don't want to know how it ends, what the twist is. I'm going to be talking about the endgame of Dragon's Dogma, so fair warning. Now let's get into the 6th journal of Dragon's Dogma. Last time I left with Gregory and I said there might be one journal left. And to some degree there was, because I beat the game after 2 streams after fighting Gregory, and here we are on the final one. However, my time with Dragon's Dogma is not done. The game has left me wanting so much more. I'm gonna go for a second playthrough of this game because it is wild to me. As you have seen through my journals so far, I have been confused just about the entire time I've been playing this game. I thought there was more. People are like, what do you mean? It's just, you gotta fight the dragon because he took your heart. I was like, no, there's gotta be more to it than that. Now that I've gotten my heart back after defeating Gregory, the whole world goes to chaos. A big pit destroys the castle. I fall through this hole, level after level, fighting random bosses. And every time I'm looking to chat like, when does it get clear? And people are, I always got the answer. Just keep playing, just keep playing. Everything's gonna be revealed. I was continuing to play with the promise that it would all make sense. And so I kept playing and I kept being confused and I kept wanting to learn what's going on, only to make it to the final credits and being like, man, you guys said this would answer more questions than provide. But I'm confused. So after I fall in the pit, I fight some bosses, I collect some heart orbs to summon a portal to go fight God, who's an old arisen that I then have to kill to take his place so I can look after this imaginary world forever. Like, it's so convoluted for no reason, and it is just not satisfying. I don't know if anybody feels like it's, oh, that's such a clever twist. I don't feel it's clever at all. I don't feel like I had a motivation to do anything in the game, and that looking back now that I know the twist, I'm just like, this is not satisfying. If anything, I'm a little annoyed because now, the other criticism I'm getting by a lot of the people in the community is I did not experience Dragon's Dogma properly because I didn't do enough side quests. To which I have 2 things to say. Number 1, I was so driven by the main quest to figure out what was going on. I couldn't be bothered with the side quests. I did as many as I could that I felt interesting. Honestly, just wanted to unravel the mystery and come back to the side quest, and that's what I've done. And so that's unsatisfying. So now I kind of want to do the side quest to see what's going on. Number 2, though, I went on a database and counted how many quests there were just to get a sense, because people said I skipped so much of the game that it's almost insulting how little of the game I've seen. So I went and counted. Apparently there are 21 quests that are the main storyline and 37 quests that are only side quests. Now I keep track of all my quests through the counter that you see on screen as I stream. By the time I hit the ending credits, I was at 40 quests completed out of a potential 58. So I only missed 18 quests, which it's not as drastic as I thought it would be. So that said, anyways, I'm a little like, I think maybe you guys are used to either seeing me very angry or very happy about a game. Dragon's Dogma has just left me confused. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm still curious about it. I think there is a solid game here. I've never had to say this about a game. I'm so confused. I need to play it again. It's one of those games. And I can't think of another game that has made me feel that way. And so we're going to restart. And this time I'm going to play as the Strider, and I'm going to have a list of quests, and I'm going to try to do as many quests that I haven't done to do them again, because I really want to experience them. And then there's the DLC, which is a whole other thing to experience. And I heard that the game is a whole other thing there. So that's where this journey is going to take us. I made it to credits, which I think was the pledge, but screw that pledge. We're extending the pledge to, I'm not even making another pledge. I just want to play more quests. So we're not going to pledge anything. We're just going to play it and see what it's all about and journey through here. So that's where I am in a very high level view. But let me share kind of the last 2 streams. So last time on the journal, I said I was stuck on the Gregory fight. I had died, and basically I didn't really know I didn't have any healing items. Like, I was not in, the game was easy enough that I never had to prepare. And I went into that fight not realizing how underprepared I was. So when I rebooted the game almost 2 months later, I was shocked to find myself being loaded into the last phase of that fight. I was like, wait, no, don't make me restart here. And so I struggled against the final phase of Gregory for an hour with an under-leveled group. We were at about level 40. Very little healing items. I kept finding a little like bottles of juices around the arena, and I was like, oh, maybe this will keep me going a little longer. And I was jumping and like trying to like tickle his chest with the tip of my sword because I had no ranged attack. My great cannon was not effective against it, and it was such a struggle. And I was running, like at the end I had no healing items left. He almost blasted me with fire, and the chat was just like, it's a sunken fallacy cost at this point. Like, what? Like, he can't give up, but it would be such a waste if he died. And at the end, I almost died only to come back. And this is how it's done at AJ. I somehow get myself into the dumbest situations that make so much unnecessary tension happen, but it makes for a fun story. So in the end, I just kept reviving my mage Blue, my boy Zach, my sacrificial distraction that is Zach, and then we had our good old Classy, who I honestly don't know what she was doing. She was shooting stuff. And in the end, Gregory fell. I was like, finally, answers to my questions are coming. And then they're like, the old Arisen disintegrates, the king ages, Grand Soren collapses into a pit. And I'm just like, this gives me more problems, like more confusion. And so you respawn in the original village, and then all of your armor is dragon forged, which I don't know what that means. The sky is kind of creepy. I go outside, the mobs are insane now, and it's just like, oh, let's go check out what's going on in Grand Soren. And everybody's like, oh wow, the world is sure dark, what did you do? And I'm like, I completed my quest, and somehow I destroyed the world by doing that. So really disappointing game. So anyways, I moved forward. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do some mobs. We're gonna level up, because now at this stage I'm like, I'm under leveled. I'm level 40. I probably should have been 50 or 60 at this point. Let's just do that, and as we make our way to Soren to see what's going on, Grand Soren to see what's going on, we should level up. That didn't happen. I made it to Grand Soren. I'm at like level 40, maybe level 41. Like, go see the king. I go see the king. He doesn't like me. He starts attacking me, but I'm like, all right, fight time. But then it's an old man slowly swinging. I was like, are we really doing this? And a boss bot, like his health bar showed up. I was like, oh, this is sad. So he's like slowly beating on my shield. I'm like, I'm just gonna end your misery now. And I just killed the king. I beat the king, and then everybody was mad at me and they wanted to kill me. And so I ran and I jumped in the hole, and then the game got even weirder, because now it's like we're turning into a dungeon crawler now. Just keep falling in the hole, randomly grab ledges, and explore whatever ledge you find. Now the thing is, oh, and collect wake stones. We need like 20 wake stones. Why? I don't know. Just do it, because I'm telling you to. So the first 2 ledges I grabbed, this is like such a bad coincidence. So I didn't know what this pit was. Basically, you fall down the pit. When you make it to the end, you come out of the sky. It's like a portal, and you just keep falling endlessly. And then you hit like the right shoulder button whenever you want to grab a ledge to go see what's on. So the first ledge I grabbed, I go into a chamber that has a massive eyeball with tentacles. And this thing killed me because I didn't know it had a beam that turns me to stone. So I got turned into stone in the most ridiculous position possible. I ended up in a fetal position. It was the most embarrassing thing that could have happened to me. And luckily I had a wake stone on me, because we're collecting those now. So I revived, and I found out that all you got to do is just keep cutting its tentacles, and then eventually it falls and you can hit the eyeball. So fun fight, kind of hard though. Because I'm assuming that I'm under leveled at this point. So I'm like, okay, whoa, I was not expecting a boss fight, but cool boss fight. Let's keep exploring this hole. I jump to the next ledge where I encounter a Hydra, and I'm like, is this just a boss rush? Did they just put all their unfinished boss assets into a chasm? Because I know that the game was unfinished. So I'm like, all right, let's go after the Hydra. This was like another hour fight, because I didn't know what to do at first. I was like beating the body. That wasn't working. I wasn't paying attention to Zach, because who pays attention to Zach? He got eaten. Not only was he eaten, I noticed where he was when he was a lump in the Hydra. I was like, oh, we probably need to address that. And then he ended up digested. So I completely lost Zach. So I was down to Classy and I think Blue as my healer, if I remember right, for that fight. It was tough keeping those 2 alive. And then I learned how to like climb on the Hydra, hit the head, and then, you know, it breaks a head, it just respawns. I learned I could taunt the Hydra to come down to my level, and then I could eventually grab the head and hit it that way. That was just a really long, tedious fight. Luckily at this part, I had learned to bring a ton of healing items with me. Yeah, I left the stream after those two and I was like, whoa, this is just a boss rush. This is so weird. And then when I continued playing, I learned that, oh no, I just got unlucky with 2 boss levels because the other levels had a bit of exploration. Some had ogres. One had a like miniature Gregory. It was like a little dragon who was very comfortable to fight. Everything was good until I entered an arena that had a lich and 2 chimeras and a bunch of wolves. Oh my goodness. That was the epitome of bullshittery that I have ever tasted in games. It was so foul, unfair, frustrating. I was so mad. And the worst thing is, before that, I had taken Blue out of my party because he was just too weak. And so I brought in another mage, not realizing that not all mages heal. I know it's stupid to say it out loud, but I got spoiled by a mage that healed, so I assumed all mages healed. So I brought in a level 60 mage with me that does not heal. So I had to do this fight with no healers, and it was just... the chimeras were casting like massive spells. The lich was bringing wolves. The wolves were shooting fire at me. The camera didn't know what it wanted to do. It was like off jamming to its own music. It was the worst experience ever. I really like wanted to cry of rage. Somehow, I don't know how, but I beat it. Somehow I beat it. Don't ask me how. And so I made it through that and kept falling to eventually encounter an Dragon Generation 1933. What a stupid name. But basically it's Gregory who's all veiny and souped up where you have to fight him multiple times. And I got scared and I moved to a plaque to read it, not knowing that despawns him. I tried to go back because I really wanted to see what he was about. He didn't respawn. And so I got distracted by the hole again and ended up moving on because I got so many wake stones and I advanced the plot, so I didn't get to actually fight the Dragon. So another thing I need to experience. So anyways, I get all the wake stones and I make it to heaven, and then they're like, go forward towards God and challenge him, or go back to your fantasy world where everything's okay. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll move forward. And then I killed God, who was me, who was not a hard fight, which was weird. And then I took his place and I sat on the throne, and then I pretended to be God for a while, which was pretty boring. And then I committed seppuku, and then I guess I ended the cycle, and then I got sent back to Earth, but it didn't work out that way, and Classy didn't like it, so then Classy became me. This sounds so stupid, like I'm struggling to explain this to you. So then I wake up and I'm a new character, so I did give myself a new hairstyle so that we know this is playthrough 2. I think I'm Classy, but in my old body, I don't know. And I've aged myself a little bit, and now I'm a Strider. So, because I heavily want ranged combat, because I struggled so much with Gregory and so many other bosses where I could only have melee weapons and melee combat. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I need range. So we're going in Strider. We're going to go figure out what's going on in this game, and we're going to see what else there is to offer. We're going to do some side quests for the funsies. I'm just going to level up. I'm not going to like beat the game again. I just want to progress and explore side quests. And then when we make it towards the end of the game, we're going to go to the DLC. We're going to see what that's about. And I'm going to share all that with you. But what a mess. What a mess is this game. And now that I know what the story is, I'm like, how do you make a sequel from this? I heard it's a prequel, but how does Dragon's Dogma 2 build on this in any meaningful way that keeps it an interesting story? Gameplay wise, it's a solid game, but man, the story is, which to me is very important to an RPG, it's just, I'm not feeling it. Oh man, this was a hard journal to convey my thoughts. I will say, Dragon's Dogma, man, this is not what I was expecting. But hey, you got me hooked. And you got me to commit some time to playing it. So I will see you on the next journal, because we're not done. And until next time, keep it classy.